Hello and welcome to this episode of Kitty in the Cosmos, and today we're going to talk about our spiritual paths and how we equate that and balance things out with the geopolitical forces that are going on the planet at the moment. It's always a difficult thing, working out how we feel emotionally as to what is actually going on around us. Now I'm going to quote Geoffrey Hoppy here, who channels Saint Germain Tobias in a wonderful way. He made a comment some months ago now, and it stayed with me. And his comment was that whenever something's going on, you've got to stand behind a half wall. In other words, you observe, one would observe, but not get involved, not get over involved. That said, I would say, and far be it for me to argue in the Ascended Masters Club, which is where he is and where Yeshua is and all the others, wonderful people, Buddha, everybody, they're up there in the Ascended Masters Club, discussing things surely. But I know that they don't mind and us questing and asking questions and working things out for ourselves. So it's tongue in cheek. Though it's very cheeky of me to, try to correct or delve into their thought pattern when they are so very qualified to say what they say. So I'm going to tune in now and ask my guides about that, because it's very important for me. I would first say that when the suffragette movement happened, that happened and the changes occurred because of a group incarnating of warrior souls, of women with the power to bring forth those changes, because what Emily Pankhurst did and those other ladies was unheard of in that day. And they incarnated knowing full well they'd meet up, knowing full well what they were going to do, and they brought it forwards. So let's also look at some of the other activists, because I would say look at what they do and what they're trying to achieve, rather than they're a wardrobe disaster or they used to be a thug or whatever they are. Because some of the things that are thrown at these people who are trying to implement change in society are very often the things that have qualified them to do exactly what they do. I'll think of one person in particular that I tuned in on, because I will look at the energy of somebody and I want to know exactly what their motives are. So I tune into on the soul level where I am permitted, because of course I would ask. Tommy Robinson, the Raven King is what the spirit world gave me, the Raven King. So I immediately looked into the Raven King, and that is Blessed Bran. Blessed Bran was a king of mythology in the Welsh times. We say mythology, but no smoke without fire. And he's Blessed Bran because he was a great humanitarian and warrior and brought about change. So here we have that essence of the raven coming through. Who else has a raven? Funnily enough, Russell Brand has a raven as part of his logo. Love them or hate them. Again, don't look at these other things that are about them. You've got to look at what qualifies a person to bring about the changes that they're doing. Both Russell Brand and Tony Robinson have had very difficult beginnings in their lives. It doesn't matter if somebody's battled drugs or whatever. Don't tar them with that brush. Look at the journey they've made into a complete birth. Look at the circle that they've come through. Because the life experience that comes with all those struggles that they have had themselves really qualifies them to understand so much more. In the case of someone like Tommy Robinson, if he hadn't had the beginnings he'd had, he couldn't stand up and combat and make a stand against some of these really forceful, evil, violent forces that he is trying to dissolve. He's trying to dissolve. Likewise, Russell Brand brought a lot of information through COVID, through the non-information, and he's fighting for humanity. They're both two people fighting for humanity. The rest of it is immaterial. The likes of other people, like a Piers Morgan figure, for instance, couldn't possibly survive the kind of confrontational existence Tommy Robinson has had. But it's a very grassroots movement, and it needs to be, because the evil is at the grassroots. So it took somebody being born there to go through what he did, to come through what he's done, to bring about the change and to move the hearts of the people, because he has the hearts of the people. That's the important bit. So people have opinions about all sorts of political leaders, but look at their motivations and look at how they're behaving. Take notice of the haircut, the way they talk, whatever. There's more to that person, because don't forget we're all souls with minds and bodies attached. So that said, let's look at this half wall thing. so much goes on that makes you think, oh, your blood boils, or you suddenly have anger, or you suddenly feel unhappy about something, and you want to step over that. We're halfway over that wall before you've even thought about it. And that's typical of humanity. We are very emotional as a race, as a people. As humanoids beings on this planet, we are a fiery bunch. We are emotional. I think other planets don't have the level of emotion that we have. I do know that. So they're very, very different. So let's tune in now and just see what we're allowed to do, to how much. It's all about balance of the soul. So there are moments when you rise above things and seek higher mind, of course. And I would also say that one ought to seek higher mind before one takes an action, perhaps, as well. Because look at the people of Iran. If they stayed behind their half wall, nothing's going to change. We are the doing word of our spiritual side. We're the physical bit of the soul within us. So although we can be inspired by soul and spirit, we are the doing word. We are the hands and feet, and there's no doubt about it that we have to wreak change when it has to be. When change has to happen. No, the wall is symbolic. The wall is symbolic of balance. That's what it is. It's not physically. So they didn't mean don't go and get involved. They mean keep a balance, observe, and it's a measured response behind that wall. So that's all that meant. So that's good. I feel better about that because I did feel, come on, you can't stay behind a half wall and just look at everything and not get involved. We're here to live. We're here to be part of it. But the key is balance. And okay, I'm being told assess your motives. Assess motives. So that's what the half wall is for as well. It's a time barrier. It's for you to have to consult your own initiative and reason for being before you act. So I get that. That's fine. I feel better about that. So it isn't actually a stop barrier. It's a delay tactic to find balance and to work out exactly how you want to confront what you're going to confront. Or not, as the case may be. It may well be that it might be more prudent and a wiser move to stay behind the barrier. There are times. I'm not saying everybody's got to rush into the fray. We're not all made like that. The other interesting thing that Geoffrey Hoppe came through with is that love wasn't around 5,000 years ago. And that went to me. And so I checked with my guides on that one also. Again, here we are, this interpretation of things. It's always interesting to see how people interpret things. And my guides immediately said, no, it wasn't expressed until 5,000 years ago. So that was an interesting Geoffrey Hoppe thing. And he's wonderful, by the way. Do you listen to him? Bashar, of course, I would suggest you listen to. Suzanne Giesman, listen to. There's some wonderful people out there. And the more of us that get together and bring the information through, the more exciting the world will be. That's where the expansion happens. That really is. I mean, look at the people of Iran need our prayers. We need to send love and light to the hearts of those who are perpetrating evils against their own people in anywhere on the planet. And even if you're not aware of other political situations, send that prayer out when you remember. It's a good one. It'll never be wasted. If you can't physically get on a plane and go and make a difference, you can guarantee that your prayer will make sure that somebody does who can. That's how energy works. That's how prayer works. So, faced with atrocities and things we're seeing and other people suffering, just centre yourself, breathe for a few minutes, and send out your prayers of help and love to them. And imagine your heart going to their hearts. Sending that energy and using your own imagery makes it a tangible material matter. It does go there. It will arrive there. That prayer is an energetic force. And it really will. It is something. It's tangible. It's there. Look at your microwave. It cooks the food, but you can't see the vibes. The television, it's on, but there's nobody in that little box behind you, is there? There's nobody. It's too thin to have people dancing about inside. Where's the picture coming from? So this energy and vibration is everywhere. Signals, so you are sending out a powerful signal. Send out that powerful signal. Don't despair, because the angels pick it up. The spirit world picks it up, and they can use it, and it can then take a form that perhaps you can't physically mobilize in your own life physically at this present moment. So Have a think about the activists. Have a think about how you balance out how you feel. It's all right to have anger. It's all right to have misery. It's all right to be frustrated. Those things are very human and very normal. But process them, let them out, and when you've brought yourself back to centre, that's when you start to send out your energetic prayer form. And have a think behind your half wall about what things you can do to change the outcome of a situation. Don't feel powerless. We are cogs in the same wheel. We are, if you can imagine that the planet is one body and we're an aspect of it, perhaps we're an artery, perhaps there's another artery having a problem, or there's a skin patch somewhere else having a problem. Think of it like that. You can affect that skin patch or that artery by sending out something different through your energy pattern. So don't despair. Assess what you can do physically. Don't forget the power of prayer, and believe that these things are tangible and they're real and they can make a difference. But allow yourself the emotions in between, because anger is often a catalyst for movement, for change. So although you might feel angry about something and then feel guilty that you had anger, don't worry. Guilt's a wasted emotion anyway, and that's from somewhere else entirely. That's from a socialization that you probably can't use anymore. So obviously learn from your mistakes and move on, but don't bother with guilt. Have your anger, have your misery, have your frustration, process it, feel it through, release it, and then focus. Focus on sending out the energy that you can. Focus on the things you can really do that are tangible physically, that you can make a change with. And stay on that road. I hope that helps people. Lots of love. Bye.